I'm in Git, right now I'm in Git main. So I do Git branch, GH pages, right? Git, I check Git branch. I'm like, okay, I'm in the main. So I check out to, not hata sijatoka kwa terminal yet. So I say Git check out GH pages. So I Git add, Git pull commits just for increasing my commits. But anyway, there's nothing that I've created in the GitHub pages, but I say create GitHub pages, nothing to commit. So I say git push origin GH pages. I don't know if my origins are still, yeah. So yeah, I go back to my project. I'm like, all right. So right now, if I refresh here, I can see my GH pages, right? I come here on the setting, like pages. And then I copy this link over there. I come back to the code. I write my about. First of all, I don't forget to input that live demo there. So I'm like, I go back to, if I don't have any, like, let's say, for example, I don't have any like description to input, I can come here, home. I can come here. I can come here on this one, independent tracker. And then I'll say for this week, independent will be building an application that will let us know whether a triangle is isosceles, equilateral, scaling, or not a triangle at all. All right, so I will copy this. So I will come back here. I will input a triangle tracker, and then just a minute. I'll come here, and then I'll just copy and paste. And that's it. So maybe if I want to include topics, so I can say HTML, I can say CSS, I can say JavaScript, because now this week you're going to do JavaScript, and that's it. And then I'll say save changes. Okay? Hello? Have I lost anyone so far?
No, please proceed.
All right.
No.
You see already what I have done. Already here, imagine here, I already have like one mark for free, 2 mark for free. Okay, like because I've just done that. And then now I add my README. Okay, my README I can add maybe after I've done the project, or I can add when I'm doing the project, so that I don't forget these 2 things that I think they're very easy. Okay, the other thing that I have to be very insistent on, kindly do not put your index.html in a folder. I beseech thee, don't do that. Because sometimes your index.html, the GitHub might go looking into the folders, and it might not even, it might have a problem when it's tracking your index.html. So your index.html has to be on its own. So if I come here, I can maybe create something. I'm like, okay, let me create an mkdir that is called CSS. I'm like, all right, if I do ls, I'll see the CSS. There's something that is called the CSS, and nowadays index.html. All right, so I can open the code in code. I'm like, all right, so I come on my CSS, I click there, I provide style.css. Okay, so this one, it's okay to put it in a folder. Actually, it's very advisable. If I come here, I'll just come here, I'll input like that, I'll say my portfolio. The other way that, and I think this thing Katana showed you in very, like, it was so in depth. So if, for example, I've created these, where has it gone? You guys can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So if I've created that, and I want my commit aki zikuwe mingi zifike 20, because that is what is demanded of me, I'll just come here and I'd be like, create HTML, git add, commit, create. And remember, these should be in present tense, because I could see people saying created, and I'm like, actually, I insisted on this, but it's okay. So I can say create HTML boilerplate, then I do git push origin GH pages. Already I have 2 commits for free on my GH pages. But remember, I'm working on my GH pages. I'm not working on my main at the moment. Okay, so here I have my 2 commits. So I go back and I'm like, okay, so I've done that. So I link here, link CSS, there it is. So I say, because now you have to create that dot to showcase you're going to a folder, and now style CSS. So this one is just to show there's a path and you have to follow it. You go to the CSS, then you go to the style CSS. So I can come again, do the same thing, git add, git commit. It's as simple as that. Utakuwa ukipata, you have not even struggled for this thing and you have gotten the full marks. Git commit, add the CSS, CSS, link on index.html. I'm like, boom. So I submit my git push origin GH pages, because maybe I don't want even to push all of them, but I'm like, I want to be working this thing on a present tense. So I do that. So there's nothing to commit, nini, and all that. But if I come here again, all right. If I look like git log, one line, I'll see this one and the initial commits. So I don't know why my other commit has not gone yet, but that is how you can just do your commits. Because now if I add something, this commit also will just be pushed into the GH pages. So you work as you go, like you work as you go. If you add header, just write you added header. If you do this, just go on writing it. So the moment that you have provided for me, like let's say, for example, here in the main, you've come here, you've provided me something like this one over here and all that, like you've provided me this one. Let's see if I click, yeah, if I click on that, you've provided for me this link. If I come here on your link, I click on this one, I can just see what you've been trying to create and all that. Instead of me now trying to come here, git clone, nini, to see whatever, and now already you have mixed, miss yote just because of something as simple as that. All right? Okay. Hello.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any other question because of time? We'll go today. You guys are going to learn. You're going to learn about JavaScript, unless there's a question on the IP. Anyone with a question? Teresia, go ahead, and Charlene. Teresia first, and then Charlene.
Okay, so I realized after you marking my IP that okay, what I did on the GitHub account, there's this place hapo chini add a readme. That's where I added my readme, but I think it didn't reflect. So I was asking, are we supposed to add the readme as a file or on our project, on our folder, the folder now portfolio or something?
You can add like on as a file. I think I addressed that some time back, or even you can add there. I don't know why it didn't reflect, but if I add it there, it's going to be reflecting, because that's how we did the one that we were saying the test when I was showing you guys how to create a README.
Okay, sawa.
Yeah, Charlene, go ahead.
I was asking, when you go to settings in the pages, then it tells you like add a domain. What do you do?
Don't add a domain, because what you have done when you go here, let's say for example, I've come here and I've let me just refresh this. Maybe I've come here to the setting, okay? I've gone to the pages. What you clicked on, you said custom domain here. Okay, here you're not supposed to create anything. This is where your link will be here. There's no domain that you're going to be told to click on.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think we are done. So, and I've finished Mamboya. I finished with the IP. Let's not have any miscommunication again, because that weekend was just all over the place. Like I know I have a lot of messages of people complaining and all that. I don't know if I'm going to remark. I don't know. Like I don't feel in my heart like I should. But anyway, I'm going to see how to go about it, especially for, I just know one person, and that is Dolvin. I'm going to check. There was a problem with her file, but for the rest, I'm like, well, unless you come with a very good explanation, I don't understand why I should remark your project. So we go on to JavaScript. If you check today's JavaScript, today you're going to learn a lot about JavaScript. Let me check the most important things actually in JavaScript. The first things that you're going to learn today. There's a question, is there a way someone can retrieve the recording from last week? Yeah, there is. If you go the same way that you have been saying, if I go here and I want to see, okay, so if I come here, let's say, for example, I want to see on Fridays or 25th, stand up, 24th, I'll come here online and I can see the recordings over here. You can see the recordings, I can see the chat. So yeah. So going ahead in the week 2, and kindly use Chrome browser, not Mozilla, because some things are not going to work on Mozilla when it comes to the Canva parts. So introduction to JavaScript. Introduction to JavaScript, basically, there's the best place to learn JavaScript. It's the Mozilla Developer Network, and then there's the Stack Overflow. The Stack Overflow is basically the Google for developers, whereby you can just ask any question that you can think of, and they're going to provide an answer for that. So you can create your profile with the Stack Overflow, so that whenever you're getting, maybe let's say, for example, a block, especially in JS, you can just ask a question, or you can just interact with similar questions that have been asked before, so that you can find your answer. So when it comes to arithmetic, basically what you're going to do in HTML and JavaScript, in JavaScript, there's nothing that you're going to download or install like the way we were doing with Git, and like when you go ahead, you're going to learn about installing something like Node.js, Vanilla JS, and all that. But now when it comes to just the basic JS, there's nothing that you need to install, because already all the browsers know how to interact with the JS. Actually, it's what now helps you in interacting with the browsers, the websites, and all that. When you click on a button, maybe there's a command that is instilled with something like JS. When you're checking, let's say, for example, a checkbox, the radio buttons, and all that, you can do these things using HTML and CSS, but JS basically helps in the interactivity of the browser. So let's say, for example, you want to do something, you want to know how to run like JS on your browser. So the first thing that you're going to come, I had written that, I had created there, but now you can just click on, let's say, for example, I don't know, for the Linux people, there's that right click. Yeah, the right click. For the Mac people, you just click on the touchpad, and then you'll see this thing, and then you say inspect, and then all of a sudden there's all these things that are showing you how this page has been created. But right now we are not interested in that, so we'll just go to the console. Has everyone seen what I've done? You just step from elements, you go to the console to create something that you really want in JS. So if I say here 5 plus 7 brings me 12. If I say 8 minus 1, 8 minus 1, it brings you 7. If I say 0 divide by 0, let's see what it's going to say. It says NaN, none, which means it's not a number. So none means not a number because this one does not showcase. But like in the moment, it's just telling you the console has checked whatever you have written, and I think it's not going to bring the results because that is not a number. But if you say 4 divided by 0, it's going to provide you with an infinity, showcasing like if you divide any number with 0, it's infinite. And those are things that are considered very important in the JS, especially when you're learning them. So you come here on today's thing, you're going to learn about arithmetic. You're going to learn something that is called operators. And in the operators, there is, let me just write here. I believe in writing when I'm learning. So there's JS operators. In the JS operators, there's something that is, it's like this. Or let me just write in just a minute. Okay, so here, oh, and there are those who are writing index CSS. Kindly avoid that. It's style CSS, not index index HTML, index CSS. So here I'm going just to, let's say for example, index.js. So this one is just me linking to the index.js. But basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to interact with operators. There's this asterisk, which means multiplication, multiply. There's just a minute, that one is a minus. So there's this. And then there is minus, which means just minus as it is. And then there is plus, which means addition. These are operators in JS. There's this one. Who can tell me what this one represents in JS? Yeah, go ahead, Maureen.
Is that a slash? I think I've seen a slash. That's a divide.
No, just check again.
I can't really see because I'm using my phone.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Fiona, go ahead.
Modulus, it
Yeah.
is used to show the remainder. For example, if you say 5 divided by 2, the remainder is 1. So
Yeah.
if you use modulus, the answer will be 1.
All right, that is fantastic. So that one does not represent percentage, it just represents remainder. So for the slash, the one that Maureen had said, it's the divider. So let's say, for example, I'm coming here and I want to see the same way. If you want to clear your console, just click Control L. It's just going to be cleared. So if I say something like, let's say 70 divide percent at 10, let's see what it's going to give me. It's going to give me 0 because there's no remainder. But if I say 70, like that modulus 11, it's going to give me 4 because the next multiplication of 11, it's going to be 6. So 66 times 70 minus 66, the remainder is 4. So that is the operators. That is how the operators interact and all that. So let's say, for example, we want to try this mostly. And let me tell you something. When it comes to JavaScript, the semicolon can really mess you up if you do not input it. So and I know semicolons have made me, there's a time that made me feel like I can give up on my whole Moringa school learning because I had not inserted a semicolon and it was a very huge project and I was feeling now I'm exhausted. So always make sure for a good practice, like even here, I can just say like 5 plus 2, and I do not insert the semicolon and it's going to work. But because I want to have a good practice, I just have to put the semicolon so that the next time I don't forget. So that is how you're going to do your arithmetics. So you can see, try dividing 0 by 0. The result is going to be none, which we have talked about. It said like it doesn't stand for a number. It's not a number, and it's actually considered a type of a number, which is bizarre as it means, and also as infinity. So those are the things that you're going to learn today. You have a practice over here. Kindly go through it. You have a lot of things that you're going to learn. So let's say, for example, we want to know the remainder of this. I can just look at it. I can just take it, copy it. But this is not a good practice. But for the moment, that is what we have at the moment. So we go do modulus over here. And you can see the remainder is 15. And that is about that for Monday. So we go to the next part. You're going to interact with something that is called variables. So this is whereby now you just a minute. I can see my laptop is off kidogo. There's a variable. I have only like 7 minutes to go through this, but a variable basically is something like a container for storing values. So hereby the variable just provides a definition for the values that you're going to be interacting with. So let's say, for example, there's something that I want to write, like let's say my name is Val. Let me start with something like strings, but we're going to learn about them in a little bit. So my name is, strings, you have to put like the apostrophes. So the quotes. So my name is Beatrice. So you'll see something as undefined because already there's nothing that you are asking of it. We have just defined the name, my name. So the moment that I write here my name, it's going to bring whatever it's going to bring, and then I can write on my console, and then it's going to bring my name, which is Beatrice. So there's another way that you can store values like numbers in variables, and that is like, let's say my favorite number. Grace, tell me your favorite number.
13.
I did the 13. So Grace's favorite number is 13. Kindly make a note that on numbers we are not putting quotes. If we put quotes on anything, it becomes a string. And you're going to see how that is going to be important. Let's say for someone like Ian. Ian, your favorite number is?
12.
Word?
Favorite word?
Number. Word, your favorite number?
10.
10. All right. So I want to find, okay, like now I want to say like Val's variable now, because this is a storage. I want to say favorite numbers equals to Grace favorite number plus Ian favorite number plus Fuad favorite number. So I input that. Of course, it's going to bring undefined, but when I say favorite numbers, you can see it has already added all of them, and now it gives me the favorite numbers. Their total is equals to 35. So already we have defined now the favorite numbers, and the definition is 35. So basically we have told like var, can you, like in this variable, can you kindly store for us the favorite numbers of all these people? Like kindly hold for me Grace's favorite number, which is 13. Now hold for me Ian's favorite number, which is 12, and now hold for me Fuad's favorite number, which is 10. And now in the favorite numbers that I want to retrieve them. Sasa nataka unipatie haki yangu. So I say like favorite numbers is equals to Grace's favorite number, Ian's favorite number, Fuad's favorite number. So afterwards I'll come and say, okay, now give me the numbers, like what was the storage of all these numbers. And so basically you see it has given me 35, like, okay, so this is what now you get at the end of the day. So that is what you're going to learn about vars. Let's say, for example, we are doing a greeting. I'm saying hello to who, let's say greeting is equals to hello world. Because now this one you'll come to understand, like now this is the string. So we look at it and it will be undefined. But if now I want to define it afterwards, I'll be like, okay, Ebu, give me the greeting that initially I had stored in your store. So the moment that I do that, it's going to bring me hello world. So that is what the variables are. You're going to interact with them. So let's say, for example, the other thing even is, the good thing about the favorite, like the strings, you can change them. So Ian, give me another number. So let's say, for example, Ian
26.
So Ian's favorite number right now is 36. So if I go back to the favorite numbers over there, if I check again, I say the favorite numbers is equal to this and this, and I say now favorite numbers. Let's see what the total will be. As you can see right now, the favorite numbers have become 59. So the good thing about the var, as you go on, you're going to change them. And that is the beauty of it. You can change, you can say, okay, right now I don't feel like I'm feeling this number. Like kindly let me change the Ian's favorite number into being 12. But now there's something that you are going to interact with that is called const, which basically just means, like, this is a constant. Kindly do not change it. Never change it. Like the way we know, week of the days will never change. Months will never change. Hours of the days will never change. Pi will never change. So let's say const pi is equals to 3.14, blah, 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 and all that. So we interact here. So when we want the name pi, we're like, okay, give us the number. It's going to give us the number that we had interjected here. So let's say, for example, I want to change the pi. So I say const pi is equals to 2. And then I say, the moment that I try to do that, it's going to give me an error because it's like, okay, this is a constant and you've already declared it as a constant. It cannot change at all. You see, so if, let's say, for example, const Ian's favorite number, he had been put it as 36. All right, so the thing that is going to tell me, like, for example, right now, this one has already been declared and now it cannot change to be, like, you cannot change it to be a constant. Like, let's say, for example, now I want my name to be like Beatrice Bobo's favorite number is equals to 6. So Bobo, favorite number, can you give it to me? It's 6. But now if I try to say Bobo favorite number is equals to 9, let's see what is going to happen. It's going to provide me with an error because now a constant cannot change. A constant cannot change. Whatever number that you input there cannot change. But when it comes to the var, it can change. Let's say, for example, so now, right now, we have learned about val, we have learned about const. There's something else that is called let. Basically, what let does, it's just like var. So if I say let my number is equals to 5. Okay, my number has already been declared, meaning already before when I was working over here, I'd already declared that, and already it has the storage of that. So let me do something else, like let's, the problem with this, if I was to say var, my number equals to 10, there would not have been any syntax error because initially I was working with var, but right now I'm trying to work with let. So it just catches that syntax error and it is like, wait, let me say this was already declared by var. So you cannot put it in let. But let's say, for example, let Bobo's, like your number equals to 15. So if I check your number, I'm going to find 15. So I can say like I can say your number, or just for better practice, we can say let your number be 16. So your number this time, it's going to change and be 16. So there are 3 ways to declare something that you're working with, and that is var, const, and let. You're going to interact with it in today's work. So there's another thing that is called naming conventions. You're going to read about it, and that is what is called, like whatever we were practicing here. As you can see, this case is going to be a camel case. Basically, the way the camel is drawn, you can see it has the hump, like kuna hump inaingiana, and then it comes up and all that. So this is what is called like the camel case, whereby it starts with a lowercase, and then the other numbers that follows, they start with the capital letters. So like, let's say, for example, I had here when we were writing something like var Bobo favorite number, you can see like the things that have followed Bobo they are capital letter, and all that. That is a good practice. But you can find another person saying var Bobo favorite. Like, this is not okay. This is not okay in the naming conventions. So this one also, it's going to be really imperative for you to pay attention when you're doing your JavaScript like in IP projects and all that, because I'm going to check on this. You have to have the best naming conventions, and that is lower camel case, which is really good, not lower camel case, which is bad. The first letter here is capitalized. This capitalization style is called upper camel case or Pascal case, and it's not really good in the naming conventions. The other thing, the variable should begin with a letter and not a number. Like, the first character cannot be a number. Also, the variables are very case sensitive. Like, my number is different from my number. Like, let's say, for example, if I come here and I say my number is equal to 10, and then I come here and I want my number, it's going to tell me it's not defined. Okay, so this one and this one is very different. The vars are very case sensitive. And also you have to use clear names on the value that is being stored. You can say my number, but you cannot say X and Y, G val X is equals to 45, because it doesn't say much about the value. So let's say, for example, you want to say, you want to store like a weekday. So you can say var, weekday, Tuesday, it's second. Like, when I look at that, I know Tuesday is always the second week of the day, because now this one is basically telling me more about the number. But if I was to say like var week, and then week number, and then I say 2. I don't know if it's a weekday, is it the number of the weeks in a year, and all that. So you have to know all these naming conventions, so at least so that you can have a good practice. The last part, you're coming here, you practice the variables. Kindly make sure you practice these, all of them, so that now you can perfect your skills and all that. And now on Tuesday, tomorrow, is when you're going to have the strings, and you are going to take each other's to understand the difference between, like, let's say, for example, var my number is equals to 2, and var my number is equals to 2. You're going to know the difference between those. So if I say now var your number is equals to 2 plus is equals to my number. No. Just a minute. Let's say var your number is equals to 2. Because here what I am doing right now, it's here already I've already defined my number as these two. So I cannot say my number plus my number. It's going to have a hiccup. Yeah, it was already declared, but it's okay. So I can say var our number is equals to 2. So var total number is equals to your number, my number plus our number. So total, let's see the total number, what it's going to bring. Total number, it's going to bring 22. 22 as a string. More so as a string, not as a number. So you'll find there's something that is called concat. Well, let me write for you guys. I'm never ashamed when I'm not able to say a word. Concatenation. Like that, when it comes to string. So you're going to learn about this tomorrow. So today's content, you just go through it, make sure you understand, because this is the easiest part of JavaScript. So as you go forward, make sure you've understand the easiest, so that at least it makes your journey really easy. Any question before we go? Yeah, Drusilla, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
There was a question I had, like, from something you were talking about earlier on. On your terminal, did you link, when you were linking the JS, oh, sorry, not on your terminal, on your Visual Studio. Yeah, could you open it, please?
Oh, I linked it
in body, yeah, and not in head. Why?
Yeah, because now when it comes now to JS, you're going to be linking your index HTML, you're going to be linking it on the body, because the effects of what is going to happen. Actually, you can link it on head, all right? But mostly on the body is way better, because now it makes you will understand afterwards, but it makes your process to be very easy when interacting with it. Okay, so you'll find now this one is very easy to interact, but kindly do not link things like CSS over here on the body. That is not allowed. But as you go on with JavaScript, you're going to understand why we input mostly these ones in the body. Okay, because even you can see like the script is CRC, the attribute element is source. Okay, and it's not like this one that we were doing here, the one that you are doing link. You see, so it's very different, because now this one is a source.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and a second question about the variables. Let's say, for example, you've made a mistake when you're inputting a constant and you want to change it. How do you go about that?
So a constant cannot be changed at all.
Even if you've made a mistake.
Even if you've made a mistake, you have to stick with your mistake, or you go back to the first constant. You change from there. Because basically what you have said, this is a constant. Kindly never it change. Like if I want to call my project Bobo Diaries, let it never be called something else. Like this is a constant. Whether I'm in Europe, whether I'm in Uganda, whether I'm where, let it never change. It's the same way, like constant, let's not put names as constant. Constant, let it be like things like pi, like let's say, for example, the Newton's law of speed and all that, like things that are constant, like things that will never change regardless of age. Things like week of the day, week of the month, your birthday, and all that. So those are the things that are constant.
Sawa, thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? Okay, go ahead, Ian.
So while declaring variables, I've noticed you use var.
Mm-hmm.
So in what situation does one use let?
Actually, right now, because now JavaScript has upgraded, a lot of times var was the old practice. Right now, it's let. A lot of people are using right now let. And it's about the global scope because var can can go ahead and define, there's something that is called a global scope. So var can go and search the global scope regardless of you not declaring it, but let will just, var will be limited to the scope, but now let goes beyond the scope that you have already mentioned it. So these are the things that you're going to learn as time progress. But right now, a lot of the things that we are doing, we are using let. So var is becoming depreciated. Peter, go ahead.
Hi, Beatrice.
Hi, Peter.
Okay, mine is a request.
Mm.
I wanted to request to you that after the meeting,
Mm-hmm.
you give me like 20 minutes of your time, if possible.
That is a lot of
10.
But anyway, I understand why you're requesting the 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand. So it's okay. It's okay. I'm going to give you that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question? All right. So today, kindly make sure you've handled the things that you're supposed to handle. I've gone straight to JavaScript, but kindly remember there's JavaScript Fundamentals.